Hello, welcome to Woodland Permaculture. I'm Jenny Wood, and I am really excited today. When I first heard that you could plant 3 trees in one hole, I thought, yes please, tell me how to do that. And so I've been learning a little bit about it and heard about it from different places, and today I'm going to do it, and I am so excited. I have picked out my 3 trees, and they are all stone fruits, which is kind of traditionally what is used in a 3-hole planting. And let me tell you the trees I have. I have a Flavor King Pluot. That's my favorite pluot. They're so good. I have a Babcock Peach, which I don't know anything about, but it sounds delicious. Sweet as candy, it says. And I have a Santa Rosa Plum back there. So those are the 3 stone fruits that I have. This will be a huge addition to my permaculture food forest. It will provide lots of varieties of stone fruit, all from a small space. And that is what I need in my smaller space of a suburban yard. So I watched a video, as I always do. This one was from Dave Wilson Nursery, which is kind of where I first started hearing about this process. I'm not sure if they invented this process, but it's where everybody around here knows to learn about it. So I watched a video from Dave Wilson Nurseries about 3-in-1 plantings, and that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to try and plant it kind of up a little bit. I've got my furrows here, remember? I'm going to plant it on one of the high spots, a place that I've definitely designated for trees, and I'm going to do it high, and I'm going to do one big hole for all 3 of them. They should be about 18 to 24 inches apart. So I'm going to get my handy dandy measuring tape and measure and make sure that they are going to be that far apart. And then I'm going to make the hole the right size for that. Before I get started digging, I want to tell you a little bit about their placement. I've learned that the weakest tree should be on the south, maybe southwest side of the spacing so that it gets the most love from the sun. It's a little shorter. This one's a little shorter than the other 2. So with some extra sunlight and some extra love from there, it should easily start to match the other 2. Thankfully, they're not a huge difference, and they're, I think, all about the same age and about the same, thickness in their trunks. So I think otherwise they're a pretty good match. But I think I've got it all ready, and I'm going to move aside all of my mulch and then start digging. Let's see how they fit within the hole. Whoops. Yeah, the wind here in Tracy is a bit much. While I was digging, I came across a lot of the wood, branches, and roots that I had actually put in here several months ago when I created this part and made it ready for planting. If you watch that video, you will remember that. I dug it out, I put a whole bunch of branches and roots and things that I had in a big pile, put it down in here kind of in a modified culture. And of course I had to get a lot of that out so that I could fit my trees into here. But the good news is that you can already see a lot of this wood is decomposing. The bark is all coming off, and it was really easy to break when I was pulling it out. So I think that's a good sign that it was working. I'm going to put back as much as I can. Some of the smaller things and the small roots and things that I don't think will hinder these trees, and so it can keep decomposing and creating some good organic matter in my hole. Hey buddy, how you doing? Are you going to help me? He's always my helper, isn't he? All right, so before I put the trees in, for good though, I am going to put some sand down in the bottom and mix it up with the dirt that's in there, because some of these need a little more drainage than what my clay soil will really provide initially. So I'm going to try and make it a little more loamy, a little more sandy down in there. This is some sand that I have left over from the project I'm doing with my brick patio. That video should be coming up soon, hopefully. Now it's time to put the trees in. Let's do that very carefully. We want to be very careful with the roots. Rough up the roots a little bit so that they aren't too bound together. There's one. You can see what I'm doing, kind of muffing up those roots a little bit. This way. I think that looks good. Now I'm going to start filling it in with some of the dirt, a little bit of sand along the sides as well. And when I fill it, I don't want to make the dirt too high up on the tree. Right here is where the graft is. This is the rootstock and this is the graft. And you don't want the dirt or the mulch to come up beyond that. You want to keep it down a little lower. Pretty much where the dirt is in the pot is where you want to keep the dirt when you fill in your hole. one of these trees came with a stake tied to it. And I'm going to undo each one of the stakes and kind of reposition it so they can actually really hold up the tree and make it resistant against the wind. I think it's got a really good wind break right here, so I don't think this is going to get a ton of wind right here. Over there on the side, some wind gets behind them, gets some wind, but I think for the most part these will be protected, but I'm going to kind of lean them into the wind just a little bit, at least the stakes, so that the stakes can hold them up. Now that I've got the stakes in a better place that I like them, I also dug up some of the cardboard that I put down a few months ago. So I'm going to place that along in here as well so that it can continue to do its job suppressing weeds and decomposing to add some more organic matter to the soil. And then I'm going to put a little more dirt on top, a bunch of compost so that the compost can slowly nourish the trees. And then I'm going to mulch it over and water it, and then we're done. The cardboard is definitely decomposing. And I've got some more back here, plenty of cardboard. One of my favorite uses for cardboard. Let it go back into the soil. All right. Mulch back on there. Oh, you might have noticed that I firmed up some dirt around the circle to make it a little bit higher, and that is to kind of allow whatever water goes in there to stay in there and not run off, so that it can sink down and actually get down to where the roots are. And I saw that in the video, so I think that's a good practice to go with. Yeah, I know that's not enough. I'll water it some more in a few minutes after we're done. But I think they're looking good. I think they look fairly straight and like they can take a little bit of wind if they need to. One of them, the Flavor King, actually has a couple of pluots on it. So let's see how that goes in a few weeks, see if those ripen. That'll be exciting. But I'm definitely going to keep in touch with you on these three. I'll check back in and let you see how they're doing over the years. Thanks so much for joining me today. This has been a really great day, and I'm so excited to plant these. I'm getting close. I've only got 4 more trees, I think. Wait, only like 2 or 3 more trees I need to plant, and then my trees will be done. And then it's just, I want to focus on some native plants, native edibles, and ones for the birds and the bees and everybody else, and so want to have a really good ecology in my garden. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm really glad and hope that you're learning still from these videos that we're doing. You guys take care.